Welcome in. How we doing, guys? How we doing, chat? We got one person in here. I am live streaming tonight because I don't have my camera, but I am here to answer questions, Q&A, all that good stuff. Got some beef sticks. Woo! Beef sticks. Drop some questions. How we doing tonight? What's going on, trap? Just got off work. Waiting on my camera. My mic actually broke last night. I'll show you. This razor, great. Great quality. But it burnt out. It's got a very distinct ring light. And if you leave that going too long, the coil fizzles. And so I got to about 15 minutes in my last video, and you can hear it go and then stop. So I was like, that's not good. Let me get a new one. But what questions we got? I know a couple things happened in the market today. You had GameStop, Michael Burry talk about GameStop, the company, Ryan Cohen, all that good stuff. What am I thinking about NEO right now? That's a good question. It's a genuinely good question. I have the charts pulled up, but I can't really show you. So I think it might be a little bit more useful just to speak on it. And for NEO right now, I do believe you're still in a consolidation pattern. It kind of sucks, right? It's kind of boring. But this whole drawdown is very extended. It's very elongated, right? It's almost unnatural. It doesn't feel like a sell-off, and the volume shows it when you go to NEO's chart. You can see the volume just absolutely nosedive off of a cliff on NEO, so it's kind of interesting. I do believe you're going to fill the gap at 450. As many people say it's not going to happen, I'm still convicted, and I still have it in my soul that I think you're going to hit 450, and then you're going to see a pretty gnarly bounce. I was looking at the volume too. There you go. What will you be for a laughing disco? What will you do for a laughing disco? Don't even get me started, brother. I'll do some crazy stuff for a laughing disco. That's funny. Do it. Do it. You're hitting me with a Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Do it. Just do it. That guy fell off a cliff. That's so funny. For a disco, I will give you today's NEO volume. You know Gabe Owners? No, I don't. I only know Sugan. I only know Sugan. Do you know Sugan? I know Sugan. You really hit me with that. Do you know Gabe Owners? This guy is crazy. Let's see. What do you think AMC will bottom? AMC's bottom is a little complicated. I was actually just looking at it. Up 2% in the overnight trading. I don't believe you've bottomed yet. And I'm looking actively every single time for a bottom. Because you came down and you tapped 192 today. In doing so, you saw the volume decrease just a hair, right? But it's still relatively high when you look at this volume of trading. So what I'm watching for is I want to see a long wick bottom candle on AMC supported by some nice bullish volume. Now, if you get that, it's, in my opinion, highly likely that you see a potential upswing in your buying pressure. So in my opinion, though, I really do think on AMC, you need some kind of fundamental news, or you need Adam Aaron to get his head out of his buttocks and to say something, to speak up, right? You need a reason to be bullish at these levels. I feel like most CEOs would comment on the share price being 192. He did say that he has a overall plan coming in January or February. So I'm actually genuinely curious to see what that might be. So you got Gabe. That's funny. It says are you into crypto, man? Crypto is actually my largest portfolio holdings, believe it or not. I freaking love crypto, and I'd like to comment on it more. Um, I think right now what I just want to do is I want to specify I'm looking at IWM. I think risk on assets look really, really nasty right now, really good. Genuinely, IWM is primed to make another all-time high. And what follows with that typically is crypto, but first AMC, GameStop, and all that good stuff. Dovu, Edamiran said something might be coming. Let me pull this up on my YouTube channel because the comments keep coming, fading in, and then going away. So I want to make sure I'm able to answer every single comment that you all are dropping on here. Let's see. Da-da-da. All right. I got the comments. I get to see myself. It's kind of weird. That's a crispy fade. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We got the nice line going. All right. Kate says, "Hey man, how's it going, brother? How is it going? How are you doing? I'm doing all right. You know, had a rough October, November, to be honest. Got hit by a U-Haul, and all that good stuff during a business trip. But I'm happy to be here with you guys. My camera burnt out. I'm actually thoroughly enjoying the Q&A, so I may do more of these down the stretch. I'd like to communicate and get in touch with you guys, answer questions, because although I may try to be informative, Mask, I mentioned your name. Subscribe, brother. I may try to be informative, but I want to be a little bit more engaged, right? I made the Discord for a reason. I want you guys to be engaged, to ask questions, and to bring back that retail community or revolution, right? That really happened in 2020. So I'm really looking to do the same thing. Let's see. Or we need GME to give us a tailwind. Control guys, Mike, I completely agree. And although many people say that AMC and GameStop don't run together, when they have their squeeze moves, which we're looking for, right? That's what we're in the movement for. When you're looking for those squeeze moves, that's when it happens, because these things are bet against in a basket form. Many of the times you see shorts against IWM to almost hide some of the short volume. So it's fascinating that you say that. So I agree. His plan is to tell us something coming in 2027. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, you had a lot of your long-term debt and evaluation pushed. Three Blacks Crows on AMC weekly chart. Yeah, like May 21st. You had a lot of your long-term debt that was issued pushed back to, I believe, 2028. So good news, right? You have your overarching cloud kind of passing right now. So I sold 2021 December peak at 62 to 64. Ooh, brother. What'd you sell? Did you sell GameStop, AMC? What'd you sell? Three Black Crows. AMC. Okay. All right. And you're saying 2021 December, that's new price, right? You're not talking let's see. Let me actually pull up the chart, see where it was December. Holding 5,240 shares and holding, my man. Holy Toledo. That is absolutely cracked. I think the largest I've ever had on AMC was upwards of 7,000 shares. That's awesome, though. Yeah, and you see so many people talk about how many shares they're holding of GameStop, AMC, and it's absolutely mind-blowing that the float isn't owned 7 times over, and maybe it is, right? But I'm a very analytical person. I like to see the statistics. 43,000 shares of AMC. Honestly, if you're going to do it, now's the opportunity. That is an absolutely cheap stock. $1.93 is crazy, man. There's actually a quote by Michael Burry that I don't want to misquote, but him and Roy and Kitty have a very similar mindset when it comes to deep value investing. And there's a quote by Michael Burry in which he says he likes to find stocks that are looking on the verge of bankruptcy, stocks that look absolutely disgusting, and he likes to wait until the air clears before he sells them. I think the word is polished, right? A polished uh, zombie stock. And I'm not calling AMC or GameStop zombie stocks. In fact, far from. But I just think it's very interesting that he's coming back around these times. He had some interesting stuff to say. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read his posts. He's doing it very weird. He's posting on a separate platform. It's very strange. It's very strange. And go back to the comments. I don't know about y'all, not financial, but $3 leaps are likely $60 on sale today. Hey, I mean, do I think the price is going to go back to $3? I absolutely do. So as long as you're playing a safe investment, man, I'm all for it. I'm 14K and 500. Dang, 14K is crazy. We are zombie buying stocks. I mean, at these levels, you're like clawing through the dirt, right? Eventually, you'll come back. Games GME is strong. Glad in it too. Same, honestly. I think GameStop is one of the shocking turnaround. It's almost a Cinderella story, right? Definitely going up to 3. Truck, I could not agree more. Truck in the house. How you doing, sir? How are you doing, Truck? You're in every single comment section. Happy to have you in. Jimmy is strong. So now that I've answered most of the questions, let me just scroll up and make sure I didn't miss anything. H-bar, my bag. I have a friend who's actually very much into H-bar. He was hitting me up on the side during this crypto liquidation event. Crazy stuff. And he said, hey, have you looked into H-bar? And I'm like, come on. I like blue chips. I don't divulge much from it, but I mean, you're like the 5th person to talk about H-bar, so maybe it's something to chart and look into. I'm sick. I sold 100 of Tilray at dang. And I mean, that comment right there is kind of why, like, you're seeing a lot of disparity in the market right now, and sentiment. There's a specific study that I quote. It's a Michigan. I believe it's Michigan University has been doing a study for a very, very long time. It's called Consumer Index, Consumer Sentiment Index, and it's at the lows last seen in 1978. So if you're getting a feel of how the consumer and the economy is feeling right now, it's dread, right? It's uncertain. So I'm not surprised to see this pullback, but I think this pullback for a lot of the risk on assets is so oversold. It's crazy. So honestly, it might get a little bit worse before it gets better, but I expect an almost April-esque bounce, right? When you saw it back from April, May, June, when you saw that V-shaped recovery coming out of the markets, and you saw stocks double, triple, quadruple, right? I think that's coming for risk on assets. I could be wrong, right? But I'm betting that I'm not. Definitely uncertain. Yeah, Truck, I feel you, man. The economy, the big thing is our economy is in one of the number one things looked at by consumers is accessibility, right? They want things quick and easy. So you have to make incentives, or you have to make it that much more of a magical experience if you're convincing people to get off their couch, get out, right? Come out in the world and spend some money. But everyone's holding their wallets, holding their purses, because of the uncertainty. Hit the like button, people. You already know, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Hit the subscribe button, too. Slap it up. Hi from Adam. Nice to meet you, Adam Keller. I don't think I've seen you in the comment section. I could be wrong, though. I'm cool, my brother. Appreciate your continued coverage. Of course, man. Of course. I'm here for y'all. Inevitably, I am here for you guys. This is exactly why I came onto the scene. I want to collaborate with you guys. I personally just enjoy talking about stocks. I like the community of AMC and GameStop. For me, it literally pulled me out of one of the darkest times, one of the darkest moments came and completely 180'd my perspective on life. The fellowship and the community that came out of the AMC and GameStop community was like no other. And it not only did it pull me out of that time, but it helped me develop partnerships, friends, and learn the financial markets, learn trading, right? It ignited a passion, right? Burry has me jacked. Mike, I feel you, brother. I'm glad you're not wearing the shades. I'm sorry, but they're coming back. Fun fact, the shades, they're broken. Watch this. I can wear them, but they're broken just like my freaking just like my my monitor. Kind of messed up. If you ever get a chance, look at Dovu. It's the future. Is Dovu crypto? I don't know what Dovu is. Dovu. Dovu, Dovu, Dovu. Dovu. It's not on Webull, so it's got to be crypto, right? Yeah. I like that, Mike. That's a cool. That takes me back, man. That takes me back to your to the flip phone or to the BlackBerry, right? When you're using the the custom emojis. That takes me back. Wow. Should I put them back on? Got my pirate shades right now. All right. Kind of looks cool. It kind of looks crazy. Kind of hits. Burry has me jacked, man. Honestly, one of the times I thought about making a YouTube channel on AMC and GameStop all the way back in 2024, and I'm not kidding you, man. I was just in a different place. I was out of state for a job, and if the times were different, I was analyzing AMC like an absolute hawk, watching the monthly MACD. Once the monthly MACD crossed, I was accumulating like a madman in the threes and twos. And then you saw that shoot up, that squeeze up to $11 to $13. And that's why I like the MACD so much, because I love momentum trading. And the fact that we were able to catch that volatility, right? Not just from the Roaring Kitty comeback, right? That was a part of it. But the chart was clearly speaking. I mean, you had bullish divergence on AMC and GameStop. You had a local low. You had Roaring Kitty have come back, of course, right? Of course, that's the ignition, right? But the fuel had been piling. You had been shaving tinder on top of the fire, just waiting for that spark, right? So you got another emoji, man. I love that. The little, someone commented earlier saying, what's on top of the tree? I got a star attachment. And then if you can see right above my left shoulder, that's a Monster can hanging as an ornament, as I am an absolute degenerate. Let's see. Said hi. Hello. How are you? Good look. I appreciate it. I try very, very hard. I was not always fashionable. This is a $100 watch. It's a Casio. It's very durable and reliable. It's all I need. And then a custom band. Ready for the pump. I feel you, man. I'm ready to pump this boy up. GameStop sitting at 16% short interest. I'm dying a slow but deadly death with crypto. Any view on possible price rebound? Well, there's a couple things on crypto, and I can do a separate video, but what I've been watching on crypto is you have a very distinct and a very clear changing in the ebbs and the flows of the market cap dominance. You have Bitcoin dominance breaking down from a 7-year rising wedge, while you have altcoin dominance, which is your Ethereums, your Doge, XRP, Cardano, right? Beginning to break out of I think it's 5-year falling wedge, right? So those two things are very rare. Been hearing a lot about XRP. I keep mentioning my friend. He is an absolute leveraged XRP maniac, and he bought in at 30 cents. He's riding it all the way up to $3. In and out of ADA, XRP, Doge on swings. I agree. I think the best way to handle those alts is swings, because you see price go up 300% and then shoot right back down 70, 80, 90%, right? So there becomes a certain level of capital prevention that you have to do. I like ADA. I like Doge. I like XRP. Dying a slow but deadly death. Sol is a good swing too. Yeah, I haven't traded Sol entirely, but I believe in the chain. I believe heavily in Bonk. Bonk looks absolutely nasty. I did a short on it. AVAX, I don't know too much about Sui. Favorite YouTuber, Lettery Stocks. You doing a great job. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Let's see. Accidentally turn on Copilot. Get that out of here. Oh no. Oh no, my thing crashed. AI's taking me down, guys. I feel like I'm part of a scheme. Let me just pull up the stream again. AVAX, though, I wanted to comment on that. AVAX is really, really good looking. And the reason I say that is you're hitting the bottom of a consolidation trend. It's you had like a squeeze-esque move back in 2021, and you've been consolidating, making lower highs and lower lows. You just tapped the bottom of that consolidation trend. And I think it might be a good long, not financial advice. It might be a good long, considering they're sponsored by the freaking FIFA World Cup. Do you know what's happening in America next year? The FIFA World Cup, the world's most largest televised event. And AVAX is sponsored by it. So I think you have a awesome chance to capture volatility from that event. AMC dip buying. I feel you, man. You're hella zesty. Hey, man, I appreciate that, but all straight here. All straight here. AMC dip buying. AMC dip buying. I think I want to wait until 150, 179, 75-ish, but I don't want to miss this as well, right? I'm just waiting for clarification from the markets, right? Any kind of candle formation that I can bring to you guys and say, hey, this is beginning to look kind of nasty, right? Because you already kind of have your bullish div on the weekly. You have your bullish div on the weekly. You have your bullish div on the daily as well. And I know I covered that in the last video. You made a significant lower low while making a higher low on the RSI. Now that kind of screams a bounce. I'm looking for a sign or a heartbeat, right? I've heard that a lot, but people are afraid to go to the World Cup if it's outside of the USA. Hey, honestly, the USA is absolutely bought when it comes to soccer or football, right? It is absolutely bought. I'm happy it's coming home, coming to the US, because I love football, I love soccer, right? But I agree with you. I don't know if you're going to have the turnouts that you would have in Brazil or in Europe, right? I had GME at 80 cents. What? That's crazy, man. 80-cent GME is insane. Awesome DD, though. Loving it. Lose the glasses. Hey, man, maybe I'll keep the glasses like this. Maybe I'll keep these ones. The man, the myth, the legend is live. Thank you, Block Arts. I appreciate that, brother. You've been around for a very long time. I know we've only been in the field for 3 to 4 months, but 3 to 4 months has gone by very slow. So I appreciate you guys. Everyone, I mean, Stiff Jello, you've come in with some of the best memes, some of the best jokes that I've actually incorporated in my videos. Block Arts coming in with the love. And Truck. And I'm shocked Kyle's not here dropping a woo yet, right? January always has been Hey man, I don't know what it is with January, if it's an options chain due date or if it's just a liquidity cycle where it's the new year and funds are looking to either close out of losers or get into winners. But yeah, you're right. Honestly, January is typically very volatile. Nuts to butts 2026. Yes, sir. Nuts to butts. You know your blank. I appreciate it, man. It is. I live and breathe stocks and crypto. It's my passion, and I say that so often, but I don't think people understand. I'm watching every single Fed meeting. I'm listening to the earnings calls, and I'm doing significant amounts of chart work. 6.7, my fault. That's still insane. 67,000 shares would have been crazy. I would have been like, why are you here? You're a multimillionaire. But 6.7 thousand shares. So if you don't mind me asking, Fanboyant, when did you sell? Did you sell? That's the first question. Did you sell? Are you still in the long-term thesis, right? Because there is still a long-term thesis on GME, and the short thesis, in my opinion, is long dead. It's so dead, it's not even funny. I'm from Ireland. Hope we get there. Yeah, man. I've never been outside the U.S., but I've been to almost every single state. Traveling, and so I'd like to travel at some point. Ever heard of far I like cheeseburgers and tacos. Steve, I feel your energy, man. I love food. I used to be a chef. I sold in 2021. Hey man, that is insane. And I hope you're preserving and growing your liquidity. Something like that, like if you're able to get in that kind of trade and you can park it and accumulate 30 to 60% a year, you are going to not only have money for yourself, but your kin and your wife and your family, right? So I respect the heck out of that. Holding two shares here in New Zealand. Hey man, New Zealand is an absolutely gorgeous country. And 2K shares, if it's AMC, great. If it's GME, even crazier. My take is Barry's he's setting the stage, predicting a run while protecting himself against any market manipulation, hoping GME causes margin calls for AMC. Well, I think it's fascinating, right? You talk about when you talk about what he's doing, right? You just take a step back in time. You see that he closed his fund in October to September, right? I think it was early October. He closes his fund. The very next month, he comments on GameStop and AMC. You're telling me that's not a coincidence that he happens to begin again and spark conversation with retail investors about crime, how good of a long-term investment GameStop's beginning to look like, while also mentioning previous emails that were important to the first squeeze with Roaring Kitty, aka Keith Gill, right? Ryan Cohen. That's fascinating to me, and I'd love to continue watching. Uh, bro is that's crazy talk, man. That is crazy talk. Let's play golf next time you're out to Utah. Hey, man, I'm down. Utah is a pretty interesting state, I'll be honest. Pretty interesting state. Uh, GME, not AMC. That's pretty impressive, man. GME, if that thing goes to 50 to 70, right, our long-term target on GameStop is that all-time gap fill on GameStop. You have sitting around 72 to 73 that happened back in the previous 2021 run. I believe it happened the first time you actually raised liquidity, billions of liquidity. And so you still have that gap just hanging over your heads. And typically the price will return to these gaps. At least for GameStop, it always has. So I've been watching 28, that gap fill, which happens to be at your point of control. I'm also watching $30. And then if you get above 30, right, that 28 to 30 zone, once you get above there, guys, the volume peaks. your price becomes much more volatile, and you see shorts literally get squeezed. Um, I'm a Christian to God for life. Aren't we supposed to other with kindness and forgiveness? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, quit, try a flirt. Yeah, that's so funny. Oh man, I think stiff Jello's my quant. I think he's my quantitative, right? That's funny. Yeah, man. How many shares does everyone have? GME 3,300. AMC 15,000 is absolutely absurd, man. Bob absolutely swinging it loud and proud. That's so crazy. 519 AMC. Network crypto is the future. I like crypto as I think there will be contenders for potential cryptocurrencies. And I think those are utility coins, right? Your XRPs, your ADAs of the world. And then I think there are others that act as assets, right? You're talking about accruing a depreciatory asset, similar to gold, right? That's why I like Bitcoin so much, because Bitcoin, you literally have a cap. You cannot make any more Bitcoin. So the more you buy, the more Michael Saylor continues to slap the freaking ask and the buy button, the theoretical more the floor is raised fundamentally. So that's fascinating. I don't own any GameStop. Would you swap Meta for GameStop in the short term? Personally, I think the only reason I would ever hold Meta is because of the currently, right, in the short term. The only reason I would ever hold Meta is the AI aspect of it. They're doing a lot with artificial intelligence, but I don't see why GameStop can't either. It's not established yet, but personally, if I'm going to hold any kind of long-term stock, I'm probably just going to put it into an index because I know I'm going to win regardless, right? I believe I put it in the portfolio diversification video. SPXL guaranteed 3x leverage of the S&P 500. Now, for me, that's a winning trade to just park my money into if I'm not looking to swing it, right? But if you're looking for short-term, not financial advice, I'm probably going GameStop at $19. But you do what's right for you, man. I don't want to tell you what to do. You seem to need more. What? Man, I got my beef sticks. I don't know what you're talking about. Genja. I know. Block arts. Explain this to me. Do you know what the short percentage for AMC is? Days to cover, etc. I actually looked this up yesterday. I didn't cover it because it seems like it's so. It seems like it's off because it's self-reported. However, the answer to your question, yesterday I checked and it said 9% with, I think it was a 2 days to cover. But inevitably, right, if GameStop runs, which inevitably it will, in my opinion, you're going to have AMC follow. And AMC is so deleveraged and so oversold that once you get above your gap fills and your previous all-time low sitting at $10, the sky's the limit, right? Because you have that empty, literal, just one bar all the way down on the weekly chart. Once you slice into there, it's kind of like a smooth sailing squeeze, in which you could literally see that thing cover a lot of lost ground. So I'm watching closely, but the first resistance you have to watch out for, your previous all-time low, I believe, sitting at 238. Then you have 250. Then you have $3. Above $3, guys, things begin to boil on the chart, at least, right? What else we got? Thank you, Apocalypse. Avatar this weekend, absolutely right. And Adam Aaron has been absolutely hyping it up. You did see Wicked have a much better than expected box office, but you're going to need a little bit more help to close out. Oatly stocks, 6 years my retirement. Oatly. Why do I not know that stock? Oatly? Huh. Oatly Group. Oatly NASDAQ. Huh. Ho, ho, ho. That is a kind of nasty chart, my friend. You do have a gap fill sitting at $227. And I'd be curious to look at this on TradingView to see if there's any RSI bullish divergences in the bottom here. Oatly. And then I'll come back to the comments. I promise. I pinky swear. I freaking pinky swear, guys. Let's see. Oh, you kind of have a inverse head and shoulders there. That's interesting. And you do have significant bullish divergence, so that's actually fascinating. I might mark that one as one to follow up on. That's crazy, man. That's actually kind of crazy. Whoa. Then buy it. I believe it or not, I like to do a little bit more due diligence before I can arguably purchase something. AMC Super Bowl, just wait. Jello, if that's true, man, I think $5 would be very soon. But I'd like to see Adam Aaron steer the ship, and I'd like to see him regain control because he's been going through some medical issues. He had a stroke not too long ago. He's recovered pretty well, but I need to see this man have some gravitas, right? Have some energy and save the company, right? I anticipate Amy finds its bottom based on pattern since May move before volatility. 24 to gap. It's finished its fractal pattern. I don't really do fractal patterns. I believe history does repeat, or it rhymes, right? It doesn't often repeat. So I think there's some validity to fractal patterns, but I don't think they always occur, right? What's this plan he has? Well, he spoke about it on a live stream. I linked it in one of my previous videos. I linked it in one of my previous videos talking about how he's talking to two other podcast attendants, and he's talking in front of an audience. I think he's in a theater, actually. And he says they do actually have probably the biggest announcement that he's done. And he could just be hyping it up, right? You know how he is. Coming January to February. And then they allude to, is it Taylor Swift? Are you showing in theaters Taylor Swift's engagement or wedding, right? But who knows, right? It could be Super Bowl. It could be college football. It could be a UFC, right? It could be anything. So it could be share dilution. I don't know at this point. Bro, do you know FFIE? Chart is looking crazy. I do know FFIE. I can look at it one more time. FFIE. FFAI. I'm saying that wrong. FFAI. Sitting at $1.08. You definitely want to hold $1. Otherwise, you're going for a double bottom at 84 cents. But you do have multiple touches of bullish divergence, and this thing is known to squeeze pretty hard. So I could definitely cover it further. UFC would be a banger in theaters. Tell me about it, man. I would absolutely pay up premium to see. You think about Paramount has now, I believe it's Paramount. Quote me if I'm wrong, but Paramount has taken over UFC tickets, right? They've taken over pay-per-view. So keep into account, right? Paramount CEO has come on multiple times saying how he wants to diversify and invest heavily in getting more films to theaters. Imagine if he's also working with Adam Aaron to get UFC and AMC, guys. That would be freaking nuts. That would be crazy. Fractals are how nature runs. It's why we use the 618. True. UFC could be a banger in theaters. Taylor Swift ain't ever. Uh, don't. What does that mean? I need you to clarify. I need you to clarify your Taylor Swift statement. I think she's actually been quite delightful for AMC. So anything she does pretty much saves the company billions of dollars. Do you ever use a screener to look for certain candlestick patterns? I just started doing it with some success. I'm actually curious to hear more. Can you explain what screener do you look? What website or what trading platform do you use? Do you use TradingView, Webull? I'd be curious to hear more because I particularly freaking love trading candlesticks. I love hammer candles and I love bullish engulfing. So please let me know. No questions in the chat yet. I'm gonna get a another beef stick here. Where can I get better chart information? I'm using Robinhood. So I absolutely, although Robinhood is a very fraudulent market maker, not financial advice, don't sue me, Robinhood. Don't take this literally. But based off of 2021, they have not really done good things by their investors. Now, I like it for options trading and I like it for index funds. But what I use for trading and what I would recommend for trading would be Webull. I think Webull is a very good free platform in which you can easily learn EMAs, MAs, MACD, right? And I would recommend TradingView for overlays, right? You can very easily overlay a chart on on TradingView. You can very easily get community indicators like the VRVP, the volume range, visible volume profile, to see where your point of control may be on a stock, as well as overlaying your RSI. I like to do this particularly for Dogecoin and other cryptos. It works on GameStop too, right? Overlaying your RSI to your chart shows you directly when you have a bullish divergence without having to exactly do it yourself, right? It's very clear and evident that the chart is going one way and the RSI is going one way. That helps you identify these bullish divergences. So Webull and TradingView is what I use. Do I anticipate SPY divergence for memes to start seeing margin calls? You kind of saw it in 2021. But more than SPY divergence, what I'm looking for is I want to see SPY divert from IWM. I want to see IWM, the small cap stock index, outperform the blue chip stocks. And once that happens, guys, something very clear happens is you know that money is becoming easier to obtain and that companies are becoming risk on, right? They're becoming a little bit more lenient with their balance sheets. So that's bullish for not just GME, AMC, but also crypto. TS has never made the stock price move. What I mean. I use Cash for AMC, Cash App. Cash App, I've never tried their investing platform. I'd be curious to try. Huh. Are they good? Are they bad? GME has to go to 32. This 3 million candle and we will have 3-month bullish flip on the MACD. That's true, man. I've been watching block arts. I've been watching that quarterly MACD flip for quite some time, and GameStop's been flirting with it heavily. But AMC looks like it's going to get it first, unless you see some crazy price action for GameStop. It does look like AMC is going to get that flip on the quarterly MACD, which is so interesting to me. AI bubble, Japanese yen carry trade, over leveraged commercial loans. Do you see a crash as good for meme stocks? I think during rising tides, all ships sink. I don't think it's particularly good unless you catch people very over leveraged and you catch people in crime, right? I think that's the best case scenario in that event, but I don't see it as good. I think you need the same way you had it in 2020. You need money to be cheap and easy to get through low rates and stimulus, right? You have stimulus coming in 2026, apparently. I don't know when, but that don't let it be dawned on you. That is what predicated people sitting at home on their phones with 2K, 4K in their bank accounts to just blow through, locked in their house. Now, might not be the same thing, but I think you need IWM to run pretty heavily. Because you think about anyone who's short that basket or that asset is then going to be underwater. So if companies and hedge funds are underwater with holding their shorts while this index goes up and up and up and up and up and up and up, eventually something will have to give and they will have to buy back. We Will Screener has options, many patterns, some of your favorites, descending. Okay. I like that. I'll look into that. We Will Screener. Yeah, Cash App brokerage, beginner friendly. Okay, I'll look into Cash App too. Do you personally trade options, leverage, or only on stocks, if you mind answering? Well, not financial advice, but I think leverage is only necessary if you're absolutely certain that you can mitigate your risk, right? I think that's the biggest thing is you should be watching your risk and you should have a plan going into every trade, but particularly if you're going to risk something like that, right? You have to know going into the trade, all right, I'm going to have my stop loss at this. I'm going to have my price target at this. And this is why, right? If something deviates in my thesis, I'm going to be confident that the stop loss I've set will automatically take me out of my trade. Try to keep the emotion out of it, right? Options, I try not to tinker with options. It's just my own personal investing strategy. But I'd be interested to learn more about options. I'll be honest, I completely have deep dived into stocks, crypto, and indexes, less so about options, but I'm not against them, just not my thing. I do believe, actually, that we are in an AI bubble, but there's only so much, right? If you called the bubble in 1998 on tech, right? Well, you missed 3 years of some of the best growth in the stock market. And I do believe it is not close to popping. I think you have growth on growth on growth the next year. So I think I'll let a couple more questions come in here. My phone's at 3%. So let's see. Whoop. I filtered by low market and few indicators. Had a 20% win after 4 days. SLS. Only buying 20 to 40 shares at a time to test theory. It's valid, man. I think it's very, very smart. It's a very smart decision, not financial advice, to average into your position opposed to blowing your you-know-what or using all your dry powder on a specific trade entry, because regardless of all of the trading indicators that are showing you something, it just takes one tweet, right? One Roaring Kitty, one Michael J. Burry, one Donald J. Trump tweet to completely change the whole thesis, right? So stocks can be unpredictable at times. They can be very predictable at times, but doing that strategy kind of sets you up for success. It makes it a little bit safer of a trade regardless. Bro, options are wild. Not financial advice. I made multiple 10x when stocks ran 30%. But thanks for your answer. Of course, Block Arts. Of course. I honestly don't know enough to try options or shorting. I just buy and hold. Reading The Intelligent Investor. Now, I'd like to read more books. I would really, really like to read more books. I think it's more about time right now, and I think wherever I can park my assets and then swing a certain less dollar amount, the better, right? But I really, really feel pretty passionately about STRC, the dividend passive income stock that Michael Saylor launched. I think what he's doing with Bitcoin is fascinating. I work comp. I got nothing but time. I feel you, man. Well, I'm salaried, so I definitely, definitely scrambling for time. Um, But I think that concludes it, guys. We went 51 minutes, 8 p.m. So God bless each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for tuning in to my first and so far only Q&A. It's actually been a blast answering questions, just genuinely talking to you guys, and bringing together the retail community, because it's been a long time. I don't know anyone who does this anymore, but I want to make it popular again. I want to bring the spark, the ignition fuel to bring these questions from retail investors and help find and found a community. So God bless each and every single one of you guys. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday afternoon. And as always, guys, the best is yet to come, guys. I'll see you and peace.